The water is supposed to be beautiful on days like this. Clear, bright. The kind of day that makes people stop and take photos. But beauty doesn't save lives. And today, someone is drowning. Yuri sees it first. She's walking along the riverbank, carrying groceries, her long braided hair swaying with each step. The sun is high. The sky is that sharp, vivid blue that only exists in summer. Everything is saturated with color. Too perfect. Too still. And then she hears it, shouting. Her head snaps toward the sound. A crowd is gathering near the edge of the water. People are pointing, panicking, but no one is moving, no one is going in. Yuri drops the bags. Her sandals hit the dirt. She's already running. The boy is small, maybe 7 years old. His arms flail once, twice, then disappear under the surface. The current is stronger than it looks. Everyone knows that. That's why no one jumps. But Yuri doesn't stop to think. She hits the water at full speed. The cold slams into her chest. The current grabs her immediately, pulling her sideways, dragging her under. For a moment, everything is chaos. Bubbles. Pressure. The muffled roar of rushing water. She kicks hard, pushes forward. Her lungs are already burning. She sees him, just ahead, sinking. Her hand stretches out. Fingers brush his shirt. She pulls, grabs. For one terrible second, he slips through her grip. Her chest tightens. Air. She needs air. But she forces herself deeper, grabs him again. This time she doesn't let go. She kicks upward with everything she has left. The surface feels impossibly far. Her vision starts to blur. But she keeps kicking, keeps pulling. And then, air. She gasps. The boy coughs violently, choking on water, his small hands clutching her arms. Yuri drags him toward the bank, her muscles screaming. People reach down. Hands pull them both onto solid ground. The boy is crying now, sobbing, whispering something in Korean she can't quite hear. Yuri collapses onto her. Knees, chest heaving. Water streams off her hair, soaking into the dirt. Someone wraps a blanket around her shoulders. She doesn't look up. She's too tired. And then she hears the engines. 3 black SUVs roll up in perfect formation. Doors open before the vehicles even stop. Men step out. 6, maybe 7, all dressed in dark clothing, all moving with military precision. Before we continue, pause for just a second. Do me a favor, hit that like button right now. It helps more people find stories like this. Also, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Now let's continue. The crowd parts without being asked. Yuri looks up. One man stands out. He's tall, broad-shouldered. His arms are covered in tattoos, intricate, deliberate, expensive. His face is calm, too calm, but his hands are shaking. He kneels beside the boy. The boy throws his arms around the man's neck, still crying. The man holds him tightly, doesn't speak, just holds him. For a long moment, no one says anything. Then the man turns to Yuri. His eyes are dark, sharp, the kind that see too much. He says something in Korean. His voice is steady, controlled, but there's weight behind it. Yuri doesn't speak Korean well, but she understands enough. Thank you. She nods, wipes water from her face. One of the guards steps forward, holding an umbrella over the man's head, despite the bright sun. Another guard stands with his hand inside his jacket, watching, always watching. Yuri's instincts kick in. She's seen power before. This is it. But she doesn't care who this man is. She only cared about the boy. She stands. The blanket slips off her shoulders. He needed help, she says in English, her accent thick but clear. The man studies her. There's something unreadable in his expression. Surprise, maybe? Or something deeper. He gestures to one of the guards, who steps forward with a business card. The man holds it out to Yuri. She doesn't take it. I don't need anything, she says. The man's jaw tightens. Not anger, confusion. Medical check, he says in halting English. For you, please. Yuri shakes her head. I'm fine. She turns and walks away. Her wet clothes cling to her skin. Her legs are still shaking, but she doesn't look back. Behind her, the man watches until she disappears into the crowd. One of the guards leans in. Boss? Minjay doesn't answer. He's still staring at the space where Yuri stood. No one ever walks away from him. No one. The next day, Yuri is working at the cafe where she picks up shifts when money gets tight. It's a small place, clean, quiet. The kind of spot where people come to think, not to talk. She's wiping down tables when the door opens. The boy. He's holding his father's hand. Minjay steps inside, scanning the room out of habit. His eyes land on Yuri. The boy's face lights up. He says something in Korean, pulling his father forward. Yuri freezes. Minjay approaches slowly. He doesn't smile. Doesn't offer pleasantries. He asked to see you, Minjay says. Yuri looks at the boy. His eyes are bright, hopeful. She crouches down to his level. Are you okay? The boy nods eagerly. He says something in Korean. Minjay translates. He says you're brave. Yuri smiles. You're braver. You held on. The boy beams. Minjay watches the exchange. Something shifts in his expression, just for a second. I insist, he says quietly. Medical check and compensation. Yuri stands. I don't want money. Then what do you want? She meets his eyes. Nothing. Minjay's jaw works. He's not used to this, not used to people who don't want something. The boy tugs his father's sleeve, says something urgent. Minjay hesitates, then translates. He wants to see you again. Yuri looks at the boy, then at Minjay. Why? Minjay doesn't answer right away. When he does, his voice is softer. Because you're the first person who didn't hesitate. Yuri doesn't know what to say to that, so she just nods. 3 days later, Minjay shows up at the cafe again. This time, he's alone. Yuri is restocking shelves behind the counter when she notices him sitting at a corner table. He's not looking at his phone, not doing anything, just sitting there, waiting. She walks over, notepad in hand. Coffee? Tea, he says. And your time. Yuri raises an eyebrow. My shift ends in 2 hours. I'll wait. And he does. When she finally clocks out, he's still there. The tea has gone cold. He hasn't touched it. She sits across from him. You really don't give up, do you? No. The honesty catches her off guard. Minjay leans forward slightly. His voice is measured, careful. My son won't sleep. He keeps asking when he'll see you again. He's a child. He'll forget. He won't. Minjay's eyes don't leave hers. And I can't explain to him why the person who saved his life disappeared. Yuri feels the weight of that. She looks away, out the window where late afternoon light stretches, across the street in long golden bars. What do you want from me? Nothing complicated, Minjay says. Dinner, once a week, with him. Let him see you're real, that you're okay. Why does that matter? Minjay's jaw tightens. For the first time, she sees something crack in that controlled exterior. Because he watched his mother leave when he was 4, and now he's terrified that everyone who matters will vanish. The silence that follows is heavy. Yuri exhales slowly. Once a week. That's it. Minjay nods. That's it. But both of them know it won't stay that simple. The first dinner happens at a small restaurant near the river. Neutral ground. Public. The boy arrives clutching a drawing he made. It's Yuri, standing in water, a hero. She doesn't know what to say, so she just smiles and tells him it's beautiful. They eat. The boy chatters in Korean, and Minjay translates when needed. It's awkward at first, stilted, but the boy's joy smooths over the rough edges. At one point, the boy reaches across the table and holds Yuri's hand. Minjay watches, says nothing, but something softens in his face. When they leave, Minjay walks them to the street. His driver is waiting. Same time next week? Minjay asks. Yuri nods. The boy waves from the car window as they pull away. Yuri stands there longer than she should, watching the taillights disappear. Weeks pass. The dinners become routine. Then they become something else. The boy starts asking Yuri to teach him English words. She does. He's a quick learner. Minjay sits quietly, listening, occasionally correcting pronunciation. One evening, after dinner, they walk through a night market. Lanterns hang overhead, casting warm amber light across the stalls. The boy runs ahead, pointing at toys and street food. Yuri and Minjay follow at a distance. He's happier, Minjay says. Good. You're good with him. Yuri glances at him. I just treat him like a person. Most people treat him like an investment. The bitterness in his voice is subtle but unmistakable. They walk in silence for a moment. The boy is laughing at a puppet show. What do you do? Yuri asks suddenly. Minjay doesn't answer right away. When he does, his voice is flat. Business. What kind? The kind people don't ask about. Yuri stops walking. Then maybe I should. Minjay turns to face her. The market noise fades into the background. His eyes are steady, unreadable. If you ask, I'll tell you the truth. And once you know, you can't unknow it. Yuri holds his gaze. She wants to push, wants to demand answers. But the boy runs back, tugging her sleeve, asking her to look at something. The moment breaks. Minjay's phone buzzes. He checks it. His expression hardens. I need to go, he says. Driver will take you home. I can take the bus. Please. His tone shifts. Not a request. A command wrapped in politeness. Yuri nods. The boy hugs her goodbye as the car pulls away. Yuri watches Min-Jae walk in the opposite direction. 3 men emerge from the shadows and fall into step beside him. She sees it clearly now. The way they move. The way people step aside without being asked. This isn't just wealth. This is power, and power always has teeth. 2 nights later, Yuri is walking home from a late shift. The streets are quieter than usual. Streetlights flicker above. The air feels thick, humid, pressing down. She hears footsteps behind her. She doesn't turn, just keeps walking, faster. The footsteps match her pace. Her heart kicks up. She rounds a corner, planning to duck into a convenience store. But a hand grabs her arm. She spins. 2 men, leather jackets, cold eyes. One of them says something in Korean. She doesn't understand the words, but the tone is clear. Threat. She yanks her arm free. Get away from me! The second man steps closer. He's smiling. It's not a kind smile. And then, a car screeches to a halt. Doors fly. Open. 4 men pour out. Minjay's men. The 2 attackers freeze. One of them mutters something. They back away slowly, then run. Minjay's men don't chase. They just stand there, watching until the street is empty. One of them approaches Yuri. You're safe. Boss sent us. Yuri's hands are shaking. Why were they following me? The man doesn't answer, just gestures to the car. We'll take you home. She wants to refuse, wants to demand answers, but her legs feel weak, so she gets in. The ride is silent. When they drop her off, the man hands her a phone. Boss wants to talk. She takes it. Minjay's voice comes through, tight with control. Are you hurt? No. Good. A pause. This is my fault. What is? You being a target. The line goes quiet. Minjay! I'll handle it. He hangs up. Yuri stares at the phone, and for the first time she's afraid. The next morning, Minjay is at her door. Yuri opens it to find him standing there in a crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows. The tattoos are visible in full daylight now. Dragons, symbols she doesn't recognize. We need to talk, he says. She doesn't invite him in, just crosses her arms. About what? The men who followed me, or the men you sent after them? Both. I don't want your protection. You already have it. His voice is firm. Whether you want it or not. Yuri's jaw clenches. You don't get to decide that. I didn't decide it. The people who want to hurt me did. He steps closer, not threatening, just close enough that she can see the exhaustion in his eyes. You saved my son. That made you visible, and in my world, visibility is dangerous. Then maybe I should stop seeing him. Something flashes across Minjay's face. Pain, quickly buried. He needs you. He needs safety more. Minjay looks away, down the empty hallway. His hands curl into fists, then release. I can give him both, but only if you trust me. Yuri laughs. It's sharp, bitter. Trust you? I don't even know you. Then let me change that. She wants to say no, wants to slam the door, but the memory of the boy's face stops her. The way he smiled when she taught him new words, the way he held her hand. One conversation, she says finally. You tell me everything, and then I decide. Minjay nods. Tonight. I'll send a car. No, public place, my choice. A pause. Then. Agreed. They meet at a park as the sun dips low. The sky is streaked with orange and pink, vivid against the darkening blue. Families are packing up picnics. Children chase each other across the grass. Normal, safe. They sit on a bench near the fountain. Water splashes rhythmically behind them. Minjay speaks first. My family controls shipping, imports, some of it legal, most of it not. Yuri doesn't flinch. Drugs? among other things. Weapons? Yes, she exhales, slowly. And the people who followed me? A rival family. They've been pushing into our territory for months. Targeting my son was their way of testing my resolve. His voice drops. Targeting you was their way of showing they can reach anyone I care about. I'm not someone you care about. Minjay turns to look at her. The fading light catches his face. You think I send guards for strangers? Yuri's heart beats faster. She doesn't know what to say to that. I'm leaving, she says instead. Seoul, Korea. I'll go back home. They'll follow you. Then I'll disappear. You shouldn't have to. Minjay's voice hardens. You saved a child. You don't deserve to run for that. And what's my alternative? Stay here and become collateral damage? Minjay stands. He paces a few steps, then stops. When he turns back, his expression is cold, resolved. I'll end it. End what? The threat. Yuri stands too. How? He doesn't answer, and that silence tells her everything. 3 days later, Yuri hears about it on the news. A warehouse fire, 7 dead, rival gang members, according to unnamed sources. The report is brief, clinical. No one seems surprised. Yuri's hands shake as she turns off the television. Her phone rings. Minjay, she doesn't answer. He calls again and again. Finally, she picks up. You said you'd stay away. I said I'd handle it. By killing people? Silence. Minjay. They were planning another attack, not on me. On you. His voice is flat, emotionless. I chose you. I never asked you to choose anything. I know. The line goes quiet. She can hear him breathing, controlled, even. Don't call me again, Yuri says. She hangs up. But the boy is different. He shows up at the cafe with one of Minjay's drivers. The man bows slightly. Young master insisted. The boy runs to Yuri. His face is puffy. He's been crying. He says something in Korean, desperate, pleading. The driver translates quietly. He says, please don't leave. He says his father is sad. He says, you're the only one who makes things better. Yuri kneels down, looks the boy in the eyes. Your father did something bad. The boy shakes his head, says something firm. The driver hesitates, then translates. He says his father protects people. That's not bad. Yuri's chest tightens. The boy pulls a folded paper from his pocket. Another drawing. This time it's the 3 of them, holding hands, smiling. He presses it into her hand. Yuri can't breathe. She looks up at the driver. Tell Min-Jae I need time. The driver nods. He gently guides the boy back toward the door. The boy looks over his shoulder, waves. Yuri waves back. When they're gone, she unfolds the drawing again. The 3 of them. A family that doesn't exist. That night, Yuri can't sleep. She thinks about the warehouse, the bodies, the cold efficiency of it all. But she also thinks about the men who grabbed her arm. The look in their eyes. Minjay didn't start this, but he finished it. And part of her, a part she doesn't want to acknowledge, is grateful. She hates that feeling, hates that it exists at all. Her phone buzzes, a text, from an unknown number. The boy asks for you every night. I told him you're busy. He doesn't believe me, neither do I. She stares at the screen, then types back. I need to know you won't do that again. The response comes quickly. I can't promise that, but I can promise I'll never lie to you. Yuri closes her eyes. Truth is supposed to feel clean, but this truth feels like standing at the edge of something she can't come back from. She types one more message. I'll come to dinner, once more, that's all. 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. Once is enough, but both of them know that's a lie. The dinner happens at Minjay's estate. Yuri didn't expect this. She expected a restaurant, neutral territory. But the driver took her through gates that opened automatically, down a long driveway lined with manicured hedges. The house is massive, modern, all glass and sharp angles. Minjay meets her at the entrance. The boy is already running toward her, arms outstretched. She catches him, lifts him slightly. He's gotten heavier. You came, Minjay says quietly. I said I would. They eat in a dining room that overlooks a garden. The table is too large for 3 people. The boy sits between them, chattering about school, about a dog he wants, about a trip to the beach. Normal things. but the guards stationed at every door remind Yuri nothing here is normal. After dinner, the boy asks Yuri to read him a story. Minjay starts to object, but Yuri nods. It's fine. The boy's room is on the second floor. It's filled with toys, books, drawings taped to the walls. She recognizes some of them. Pictures of her, of his father, of the three of them together. She reads to him until his eyes grow heavy. When he falls asleep, she stays a moment longer, brushes hair from his forehead. He looks peaceful. When she comes back downstairs, Minjay is waiting in the living room, pouring tea. He loves you, Minjay says. He loves the idea of me. What's the difference? Yuri sits across from him. The room is dimly lit now, just a few lamps casting soft pools of light. Outside, the garden is bathed in moonlight. The idea doesn't come with consequences, she says. Minjay sets down his cup. And I do? Yes. He doesn't argue, just nods slowly. My family wants to meet you, he says. Yuri's stomach drops. Why? Because I've never brought anyone here. Because my son talks about you constantly. Because... He stops, looks at her. Because they need to see you're real. And if I don't want to meet them, then don't. He leans back. But they'll come to their own conclusions, and those conclusions will shape what happens next. What does that mean? Minjay's expression darkens. It means they'll decide whether you're an asset or a liability. The words hang in the air like smoke. Yuri stands. I should go. Wait, Min-Jae rises too. I'm not asking you to perform. I'm asking you to let them see what I see. And what's that? He hesitates. For once, the control cracks completely. Someone good, in a world that doesn't have much of it. Yuri's breath catches. Before she can respond, footsteps echo in the hallway. An older woman enters, elegant, cold. Her eyes sweep over Yuri with surgical precision. She speaks in Korean, sharp, clipped. Minjay's jaw tightens. He responds in the same language. It's not a conversation, it's a confrontation. The woman's gaze shifts back to Yuri. She says something else. Minjay doesn't translate. Then the woman leaves. The silence is suffocating. What did she say? Yuri asks. Minjay's face is stone. That you don't belong here. She's right. No, she's not. But the conviction in his voice doesn't match the tension in his shoulders. The formal meeting happens 2 days later. Minjay sends a dress. Yuri almost refuses to wear it, but she knows enough to understand this is strategy, not vanity. The family gathers in a private room. 10 people, maybe more. Elders sit at the head of the table. Younger members flank the sides. Yuri is seated next to Minjay. The boy is not here. They speak in Korean. Minjay translates when necessary, but mostly Yuri just listens to the tone. Disapproval, skepticism, calculation. One older man addresses her directly in broken English. You save boy, we grateful, but family business is complicated. Yuri meets his eyes. I understand. Do you? Another voice. A woman in her 50s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. You disrupt hierarchy. Men look at you. They wonder why boss choose outsider. Minjay starts to speak. The woman cuts him off with a raised hand. It's not personal, she continues. It's structure. You destabilize what we built. Yuri's hands tighten in her lap. She wants to argue, wants to shout that she never asked for any of this, but she knows it won't matter. A younger man, maybe late 20s, shifts uncomfortably, opens his mouth, then closes it. Minjay notices. Say it. The younger man hesitates, looks at Yuri, then back at Minjay. Nothing, Hyung. But the silence speaks volumes. The meeting ends without resolution. Yuri is escorted out by a guard. Minjay doesn't follow immediately. She waits by the car. 15 minutes pass, then 30. When Minjay finally emerges, his face is unreadable. They want you gone, he says flatly. Yuri nods. I know. I told them no. Why? He looks at her, really looks at her. Because I'm tired of letting fear make my decisions. The driver opens the car door. Yuri gets in. As they pull away, she sees Minjay standing alone in front of that massive house. Power has never looked so lonely. That night, Yuri lies awake. Her phone rings. Not Minjay, an unknown number. She answers, heavy breathing, then a voice, Korean, distorted, threatening. She hangs up immediately. Her hands are shaking. The phone rings again. This time she doesn't answer. But the messages start coming, photos of her building, of the cafe, of the route she walks home. They know everything. She calls Minjay. He answers on the first ring. "What's wrong?" she tells him. The line goes silent. When he speaks again, his voice is ice. "Pack a bag. I'm sending someone." Min-Jae. "Now, Yuri!" 30 minutes later, 3 cars arrive. The guards move with frightening efficiency. One sweeps her apartment, another escorts her downstairs, a third checks the perimeter. She's driven to a different location, not Minjay's estate, somewhere smaller, fortified. Minjay is already there. He looks at her, sees the fear she's trying to hide. "This ends tonight," he says. "How?" His eyes are cold, empty. "Permanently." Yuri doesn't sleep. She sits in a room with reinforced windows, listening to footsteps in the hallway. Guards changing shifts, radios crackling, the machinery of protection humming around her. At 3 a.m., she hears shouting, then gunfire, sharp, distant, but unmistakable. She freezes. Her heart slams against her ribs. The door bursts open, a guard, blood on his sleeve. "Stay down, lock the door, don't open it for anyone except me or the boss." He's gone before she can respond. More gunfire, closer now. Yuri drops to the floor, crawls to the corner farthest from the door. Her breath comes in shallow gasps. Minutes stretch like hours, then silence, worse than the noise. Footsteps approach, slow, deliberate. The doorknob turns. She holds her breath. "Yuri," Minjay's voice. She scrambles to unlock the door. He's standing there, jacket torn, a cut above his eyebrow bleeding down his temple. But he's alive. "Are you hurt?" he asks. She shakes her head. He steps inside, closes the door, leans against it. For a moment, he just breathes. "It's over," he says quietly. "What happened?" "They came for you. We were ready." "Did you?" She can't finish the question. Minjay looks at her. His eyes are hollow. "Yes." She wants to be horrified, wants to recoil, but all she feels is relief, and that terrifies her more than anything else. "I can't do this," she whispers. Minjay straightens. "Do what?" "This. Us. Whatever this is becoming." Her voice cracks. "People are dying because I pulled your son out of a river. People are dying because other people chose violence." Minjay steps closer. "You didn't start this war. You just got caught in it." "And what happens when the next war starts? When the next family decides you're vulnerable?" She's shaking now. "How many more people die before this ends?" Minjay's face hardens. "I will burn down every family in this city before I let anyone touch you or my son." The certainty in his voice should scare her. Instead, something inside her breaks. "I can't be the reason you become a monster." "I was a monster long before I met you." He reaches out, stops himself. "You just made me want to be something else." Yuri closes her eyes. Tears slip down her cheeks. "Take me home," she says. Minjay's hand falls. "Yuri, please." He nods once, says nothing more. The drive back happens in daylight. Morning sun streams through the windows, bright and merciless. The city looks clean, normal. People going to work, living ordinary lives. Minjay sits across from her in the back seat, not speaking, just watching. When they reach her building, he walks her to the door. "I meant what I said," he tells her, "about wanting to be different. Wanting isn't enough." "Then what is?" Yuri turns to face him. "Proof. Show me you can walk away from all of it. The empire, the violence, the power." She pauses. "Show me you can choose your son over everything else." Minjay's jaw works. "And if I do?" Her breath hitches. "Then maybe we can talk about what comes next." He stares at her for a long moment, then nods. She goes inside, doesn't look back. But through the window, she watches him stand there, alone on the street, the sun catching his scarred knuckles as he clenches and unclenches his fists. Then he walks away. 2 weeks pass. No calls, no texts, no visits. Yuri tells herself it's better this way. Safer, simpler. But every day feels heavier than the last. The boy's drawing is still on her refrigerator, the 3 of them, smiling. She can't bring herself to take it down. On the 15th day, she's walking through the market when she sees him. Minjay. No guards, no SUVs, just him, alone. He's wearing jeans and a simple black shirt. His hair is slightly messy. He looks exhausted. Their eyes meet across the crowd. He doesn't move, doesn't approach, just raises his hand slightly. A small wave. Yuri's heart stutters. She walks toward him, slowly. The market noise fades to background static. "No security?" she asks when she reaches him. "I sent them away." "That's dangerous." "I know." She searches his face, sees the shadows under his eyes, the tension in his shoulders. "What are you doing here?" "Grocery shopping." He holds up a bag. "The boy wants to learn to cook. Thought I'd try teaching him." Something about that image, Min-Jae, this dangerous man trying to teach his son to cook, cracks something inside her. "You're really walking away," she says, not a question. "Trying to." He sets the bag down. "It's harder than I thought. People don't just let you leave, they push back, test you." His voice drops. "I lost 3 business partners this week. Another is threatening to go to the rivals." "Are you safe?" "I'm standing here unguarded in a public market." A ghost of a smile. "What do you think?" Yuri's throat tightens. "Minjay, I'm not done yet." He steps closer. "But I need you to—" "No, I'm trying. Every day. Even when it costs me everything." She can't breathe. "The boy misses you," he adds quietly. "I told him you're busy. He asked if you're mad at us." "I'm not mad." "Then come to dinner, tomorrow. No pressure, no expectations. Just come." Yuri looks at him. This man who killed for her, who's dismantling his empire for a chance at something different. "Okay," she whispers. The relief on his face is devastating. The next evening, Yuri stands outside Minjay's estate. The gates are the same, the house unchanged, but something feels different. The boy opens the door before she can knock. His face lights up like sunrise. He throws his arms around her waist. She hugs him back, tight. Minjay appears behind him. "We made dinner? Well, we tried." The kitchen is a disaster. Flour everywhere, burnt edges on something that might have been pancakes. But the 3 of them sit at that too large table and eat food that tastes terrible and laugh until their sides hurt. For one evening, they're not a mafia boss, a refugee, and a traumatized child. They're just 3 people trying to figure out how to be a family. And when the boy falls asleep on the couch between them, Yuri doesn't pull away. She stays. Minjay's hand finds hers in the darkness. Neither of them speaks, but both of them know something has shifted, something irreversible. When Yuri wakes, she's covered with a blanket. The boy is still asleep beside her. Minjay is gone. She finds him outside on the terrace. Dawn is breaking. The sky is pale blue, streaked with thin clouds catching pink light. He's on the phone, speaking Korean in low, tense tones. When he sees her, he ends the call. "Everything okay?" she asks. He doesn't answer right away, just looks out over the garden where dew still clings to the grass. "One of my lieutenants resigned yesterday," he says finally. "Been with me 12 years. Trained him myself." "Because you're stepping back?" "Because he thinks I'm weak now." Minjay's voice is empty. "He's not wrong." Yuri moves beside him. "You're choosing your son. That's not weakness." "In my world, it is." "Then maybe your world is wrong." He turns to look at her. Something raw flickers in his expression. "I used to be certain about everything. What to do, how to respond, who to trust." He pauses. "And then you walked away from me without flinching. Like I was just a man, not a threat, not an asset, just a man." "You are just a man." "I forget that sometimes." The sun climbs higher. Morning light floods the terrace, warm and unforgiving. Minjay reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small box. Yuri's breath stops. "This isn't what you think," he says quickly. He opens it. Inside is a simple silver band, no diamonds, no ceremony. "I bought this 3 days ago, then I threw it in a drawer because I knew it was too soon, too much." He closes the box. "But I keep taking it out, looking at it, trying to imagine a future where I'm allowed to ask." Yuri's heart hammers. "Minjay, I'm not asking. Not today." He puts the box back in his pocket. "I'm just telling you it exists. That I think about it. About you. About what it would mean to build something that isn't held together by fear." She doesn't know what to say, so she just takes his hand. They stand there as the sun rises, not speaking, not needing to. Behind them, the boy wakes up, wanders outside, rubbing sleep from his eyes. He sees them holding hands. His face breaks into the biggest smile Yuri has ever seen. 3 months pass. Minjay keeps dismantling, slowly, carefully. He transfers operations, sells territories, cuts ties with the worst elements of his network. It costs him. Allies become enemies. Old friends stop returning calls. Twice he's followed. Once, someone slashes his tires. But he doesn't fight back. He absorbs it, endures it, keeps moving forward. Yuri watches him carry it all without complaint, and something inside her shifts completely. One Saturday afternoon, they're at the park. The boy is chasing pigeons. Minjay and Yuri sit on a bench under a tree heavy with summer leaves. "I need to tell you something," Minjay says. Yuri tenses. "What?" "I'm testifying. Against the family that came after you. Full cooperation with prosecutors." He's staring straight ahead. "It means witness protection for a while, relocation, new identities." "For how long?" "As long as it takes." Yuri processes this. "You're really doing it? Walking away completely?" "Yes." "Why now?" Minjay finally looks at her. "Because I want to ask you something, and I can't ask it while I'm still that person." Her throat tightens. "What do you want to ask?" But before he can answer, the boy runs back, grabs Minjay's hand, points at the ice cream cart across the park. Minjay smiles. "Go ahead, I'll catch up." The boy sprints off. Minjay stands, offers Yuri his hand. They walk together, slow. The park is full of people, couples, families, children laughing. "I wanted to do this right," Minjay says. "No guards, no fortress, just life." Yuri's pulse quickens. He stops walking, turns to face her fully, right there, in the middle of the park, people passing on all sides. "I know what I'm asking isn't fair. I know my past doesn't just disappear. I know there will be consequences." His voice is steady, certain. "But I also know I've never wanted anything more than this. You, him, a life that doesn't end in blood." He doesn't kneel, doesn't make a production of it, just looks at her with everything he has. "Will you marry me?" Yuri's eyes fill. She wants to say yes. God, she wants to. But something holds her back. "Ask me again," she whispers. "When you're completely free, when there's nothing left between you and the person you're trying to become." Minjay's face falls, just for a second. Then he nods. "Okay." They keep walking. The boy is waiting by the ice cream cart. Minjay buys 3 cones. They eat them in the sun, sticky and sweet and imperfect. The boy asks if Yuri will come to his school concert next week. She says yes. 6 months later, the trial ends. Minjay testifies for 3 days, says everything, names names, burns every bridge he ever built. When it's over, he walks out of the courthouse into blinding afternoon sun. Yuri is waiting, no guards, no cars, just her. He stops when he sees her. She walks toward him, slowly, the way she did that first day at the market. "It's done," he says. "I know." They stand facing each other. The courthouse steps are crowded with reporters, lawyers, people who don't matter. Minjay reaches into his jacket, pulls out that small box, opens it. "I'm just a man now," he says quietly. "No empire, no power, just a father trying to give his son a better life." He pauses. "Is that enough?" Yuri looks at the ring, then at him, at this man who burned down everything he was for a chance to become something different. "Yes," she whispers. His eyes close. Relief crashes over his face. When he opens them again, they're wet. He slips the ring on her finger. It fits perfectly. The boy, who's been hiding behind Yuri the whole time, jumps out. "Does this mean you're staying?" he asks in careful English. Yuri kneels down, pulls him close. "Yes, I'm staying." He hugs her so tight she can barely breathe. Minjay wraps his arms around both of them. Behind them, cameras flash. Reporters shout questions. But none of it matters. For the first time in their lives, all 3 of them are free. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is care about someone, but sometimes it's the only thing worth doing. Yuri dove into a river to save a drowning boy. She had no idea it would cost her everything she knew, or give her everything she needed. Love doesn't erase the past. It doesn't make the darkness disappear, but it gives you a reason to walk toward the light anyway. even when it's terrifying, even when it seems impossible, even when the current fights you every step of the way. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear that change is possible, that people can choose differently. That love, real love, is worth fighting for. And subscribe, because there are more stories like this, stories about courage, sacrifice, the messy, complicated truth of what it means to save someone and let them save you back. Thanks for watching.